Hi guys, welcome back to the Belle. This is a podcast that celebrates women in sports, entertainment, and the overall creative industry, where we have conversations with leading women in these industries to inspire you to also make an impact in these industries. Today we're going to talk about all things sports management, sports PR, corporate, in sports. We have Miss Sibabalwe. How do you pronounce your name?
Sibabalwe Sesmani.
Sesmani. Yes. And how would you introduce yourself?
I have no idea.
Wait, what?
I'm a girl.
Yes, you're a girl.
Businesswoman. I think I like that.
Okay.
Because I am interested in quite a few number of industries. It's just that I'm doing these two at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as a businesswoman.
So it all is like, I think your foundation is entrepreneurship, and then you branch out into different fields. Okay. Let's take it back to eMdantsane. We're actually talking about it right now. Let's take it back to East London, where you're from.
Yeah.
You know, how were you raised? What kind of child were you? Were you always this, into entrepreneurship? And what other interests did you have? Was it always sports? Was it always PR? What was it?
So I was a very weird child growing up.
Alright.
But I think when I meet up with like my aunts and uncles now, they're like, oh no, we've always known you've been entrepreneurial. So my first venture, I was in primary school. I sold popcorn.
Okay.
And then that's when I learned that maybe doing business with family is not the best. So I think my popcorn was 50 cents.
Yeah.
So at the time, the local newspaper was R2.50. So my dad would always take my petty cash and buy
newspapers, and you're like, you see now.
And then when I come and I collect, he's just like, who do you think pays for the cereal? In school, you don't have to hear
Yeah. But this was not part of the contract.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, from selling popcorn to, like, I always had these ideas. I bought my first cell phone, I think when I was 11.
Wait, what?
So it's just, I don't know, I've just always been keen and interested in like making money, and I think I've always been curious. And I've always been a negotiator, hey? Like when I was younger, I'd sit my parents down, I'd be like, okay, we need to talk, so I'm trying to do this, so this is how you meet me in house. We'd have meetings. I think my parents been like a problem.
Oh wow.
I think that's the kind of upbringing I had. I mean, I wanted to be a dancer, I wanted to be a doctor, but what I loved about my parents is that the support was always there. They never limited me to say you can't do this or you can't do that. They always entertained everything that I came up with, and I had a lot of bright ideas every other week.
And they were
supportive. It was a very supportive household. As long as I passed and I passed well,
that's fine,
like you can do whatever.
Where does it come from though? Like, are your parents also entrepreneurs, or was it just innately in you?
So I think my parents had a different background. Definitely, they would have run.
No, like mindsets as well. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, like my mom now, she calls me every other week. She's like, I'm thinking of starting a business. I want to do this. I want to do that.
Cool.
All of that. My dad got into business. Unfortunately, it tanked very bad.
Yeah.
But I think he also had those aspirations.
Yeah.
But I think because our history that we have in SA, there were limitations that it's either you're a teacher or a nurse or whatever. So my parents ended up getting into those very conventional roles, I guess, to pay the bills, put a roof over our head and so we can go to school.
I think it's big of them also to support you, knowing that you could have more opportunities.
Yeah.
They're not also limiting you from, how they grew up.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's actually way bigger in the world. And in school, like what subjects were you into? Did you do sports in school?
I did. I was very average at school, but I did everything. So funny enough, how I also got into the school that I went to. So I went to a township school.
Okay.
Initially.
Is this a high school?
No,
primary school, yeah.
Initially up until about, I think, grade 4.
Yeah.
And it's very sad. It's a very sad part about SA that there were like 50 of us in the classroom to one teacher. Overly cramped and whatnot. So one day I was like to my parents, listen, I don't like this environment. Can I switch school?
You said that?
Yeah.
At age 10?
I was 10, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like this environment. Can I switch school? They're like, okay, look for a school and then we'll support you. I looked for a school. I found one. And then they were actually full. They weren't taking any more kids at that point. And I was like, can I have a meeting with the headmaster? So the three of us went.
At 10? Okay.
And I told my parents, I was like, no, y'all can chill. I'm going to go into this thing. So it was cool. But I was like, listen, I will do ballet. I will do everything. I'll put my whole heart into it. If you just accept me. It's just one more kid. And I'm small. So no one's really going to see me. He laughed and he's like, okay, next week you're going to come.
Really? Dude, at 10? You're like, I'll negotiate.
I would never forget that bad.
First of all, shout out to your parents for allowing you to be like, okay, girl, you go talk to the headmaster. And for the headmaster to actually take you seriously.
I was like, I will do it. And I did do everything. So I did ballet, from ballet to dancing, ballet to drama, to playing tennis. I played every sport, not water sports. Funny enough, I was in the first team cricket, girls team when I was in high school. So I think I did everything, but I was stronger on the academic side. Highly competitive, competitive. I hated losing. So I think in school I did like the normal commerce subjects. I did science, chemistry, business, accounting. What was there?
And then where was your mindset at? Like looking for a career when you were still in high school. Where was your mindset at? Was it entrepreneurship or PR, marketing?
I don't know, but what I knew that is that I wanted to definitely be in the corporate space. That's what I knew for sure.
Okay.
What industry or what capacity I wasn't sure of, but I definitely knew that I wanted to be in the corporate space. So then I went to varsity. Varsity, funny enough, I didn't study PR. I studied economics and econometrics because I didn't know what to study. So I closed my eyes.
What did you choose?
Is
that what you chose?
Yeah, that's literally how I chose.
Did you know what it was?
No.
Okay, so like
I never did economics in high school. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see.
All right.
Because I think I also didn't want to go to varsity, but I just did it for my parents. It was more for my parents than.
So if you had a choice, you wouldn't have gone. No. What were you gonna do?
I would have started something.
Really?
Yeah. But I didn't want to go to varsity.
This is very interesting because I have a whole lot of questions. All right, so you studied economics.
Yeah.
And then after that, what was the plan after graduating from economics?
I think so. In my last year, I got offered a job at a tobacco company. The role was an informal marketer. So I think that's when the love for PR started growing. So because the tobacco industry in SA, they can't advertise, so they really have to go into what do they call it, like human behavior and interaction, and how to influence people to certain things, because they can't advertise. You can't say go buy the cigarette. So I think that's where it started. So and a lot of the times, actually, funny enough, we did our activations on Greenside.
Oh wow, okay.
So we were split into two. They were the people that wore the uniform and sold the cigarettes, and then they were us. We basically got paid a party. The best job in the world as a student.
Talk to people.
You talk to people. You take out like cigarettes. I don't smoke, but you take out the cigarette, put it on the table. That's a conversation starter. And then every Tuesday, you then have to write a report. And you also have to come up with like innovative ways to see how you can influence people's behaviors. So that really interested me a lot. I think from then I got a job in film and television. After that, I got another job in film and television. And then I met my first client at my last employment.
Okay.
Yes, and then just went from there.
So I feel like you're skipping the main part where you met your first client before actually formally registering your company. Hello.
So it was so
That's
funny.
major.
It was funny how that happened, right? So on the boat, we had we worked in a co-working space. Really cool space in Maboneng. It had like a putting green in the middle. Like it was funky, man. You're at work and you're working, but it was also like very fun, interactive space. So I remember one of the directors was there that day, one of the owners of this place. And I was like, this is such a cool space, how much are people paying here? It's like, no, it's 1.5 for a desk. And that's fully inclusive of printing. I was like, as an entrepreneur, 1,500 and that is cool.
Yeah.
I've got a business address, I've got a receptionist, I've got a place to come in and work. Because also I think at that time, people were only starting to get Wi-Fi to their homes.
Oh, yeah.
Good internet connection, all of that. I'm like, but why aren't you advertising? Why don't people know about it? He's like, actually, we've never thought about it. I was like, yeah, if you do media interviews, I think it's really cool. He's like, it was on a Friday. He's like, okay, cool. Why don't you put together a proposal for me? I'm like, sure. Okay, Monday we'll meet. Sure. 2 hours before the meeting, I'm on Google.
Of course.
What is a proposal? How do you write a proposal? Funniest thing ever. So I took a tablet, I went and I pitched to him. He's like, oh, that's great. Why don't you drop an SLA? I was like, okay, cool. You have it tomorrow.
Wait, oh, what?
An SLA, service level agreement.
Okay, and what is that?
I was like, cool. I went on Google after.
What is
an
it?
SLA? So I dropped it. I got a template on Google, dropped it. It's basically an agreement on payment terms, monthly deliverables, and the duration of the contract with the client. And then I think from there, we worked with them for like a year or two. But within that year or two, they used to like refer us to their friends so much.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. We've never, after 8 years of being in business, we've never pitched. Every single one of our clients that we had, and we've had over the years of referrals or inquiries coming in, we pitched once, we didn't get the client. So I was like, okay, I'll never do this pitching thing again. But it was really through referrals. So I think that's what governs quite a lot of the work that we do. And I'm a bit of a hands-on freak when it comes to that, because I'm just like, we've built a good enough reputation. If we're going to be living on referrals, we have to either be consistent with our work or always push the bar higher. So yeah, I think it just started from there. It was literally referrals. Up until this day, I think
it's referrals.
It's referrals and a lot of stalking on my side.
No, because you always have to look for business opportunities.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the fact that you didn't really want to go back to varsity. I mean, go to varsity.
Go to varsity, yeah.
Would you encourage young people to go to varsity? People who want to be in your position right now.
Having background is cool.
Yeah.
I think after then getting into the PR space, because a lot of the stuff I learned on the job.
Yeah.
I've then gone back and like did some research, did a few courses. I'm actually currently doing a corporate governance course now.
Okay.
But I like a big part of me, if you're not gonna be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, I really think you should get hands-on experience so that you know exactly what you're dealing with, so that it makes the theory side of it easier. So that's just my issue with varsity. I'm actually applying my economics degree now, and I would actually redo it with so much understanding, because it was actually such a great degree.
Yeah.
It's just my thing is that I think we need a practical element in degrees. So you can actually apply.
Do you think they're more theoretical compared to practical?
Very theoretical. Like I can't remember in the 3 years, because I didn't do honors. After 3 years I was like, bye.
You didn't feel the pressure to do honors? That's it. You're like,
and all of my friends are like, applications are closing next week. I'm like, yeah, and shut up, guys. I am out.
Oh wow.
So I really think that there's definitely like something that we need to change in our schooling system. Either we show students the bigger picture first and then we bring them in. But I remember like the more confident I got in my lectures as well, I'd always ask the lecturer, can we start at the end and then come back? And tell us the reason and why we're doing this, how we practically apply this
don't
in
just
life.
tell, don't just,
And then we'll start with chapter 1.
Okay.
So I think I do have quite a few issues with varsity. And I think actually for me, there's no better school than practical.
I have the same beliefs. I have to say, I dropped out of varsity.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. But it's not because I felt like I shouldn't be there. It's because I didn't know what to study, and I was stuck in a degree that I didn't enjoy. And I was like, I don't know what to do, until I got an internship, and then that's when I realized, I actually want to do this. I want to do this. And only now I'm like, maybe I could study this. Only now.
Only now.
When I'm 26, I'm like, hey, maybe this degree could help me.
I think you're also more mature. I really think that you need to go to school when you're a bit more mature and you've had
I feel the same way.
Life. Yeah.
I feel the same way. So, your company, right? Actually, please explain it. Unorthodox.
Unorthodox Media Group was started in 2014 October with our first client.
I was in matric. I just said
really? Oh God, how old are you?
I was 18. Yeah.
So I was 22 at the time. I was so excited for life. I didn't really think that I would stick it out for this long.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
Really?
I didn't.
How many years did you give yourself?
I don't know, but I was just like, surely it's not gonna go that far. Really?
Okay.
Like I wanted it to, but I was just like,
not like that. Yeah.
So that started, and we just got more clients as and when time went. So when it comes to PR, we do corporate PR. I really like the boring industry.
What is corporate PR?
So so what we do actually, because it's very broad.
Yeah.
I'll just bring it into what we specialize in. We specialize in media relations. So we create brand awareness for the client by placing them in front of their target audience using media. So we facilitate media interviews on podcasts, radio, television, print, digital. So we have reach in Southern Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, UK, and the US. So those are we work.
Did you think that you're gonna get this far international? Okay.
Like I look at
that's a big deal.
Look at some like emails, and I see an email coming in from BBC or Al Jazeera, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's crazy, bro.
It's say.
Yeah.
So that's what the PR side basically does in a summary. So the sports side was actually started in 2020, formally registered in October as well.
Oh,
so that's 22
okay.
years old. How that happened is that someone that I know from high school, interesting enough, calls me up and he's like, hey, I know you do PR. I've seen that you do PR for companies, but my friend wants PR in his personal capacity. I'm like, okay, cool, who's your friend? He's like, Makazole, Mapimpi. I'm like, say what now? The friend's who?
And you're an avid rugby fan, so you're like, excuse me.
I'm like, huh? Rugby coach? That's him? He's like, yeah, that's him. I'm like, and no one's representing him. Like no one at all. Like, no, he just has a normal agent.
Wait, 2020, that's like,
he
has a World Cup.
That's a couple of
months.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's basically the guy who won us a World Cup.
Yeah, I was about to say he has a World Cup at this stage.
Yeah.
He's a World Cup winner.
Couple of months after when the whole country was drunk that day. So I'm just like, okay. Like I don't personally I don't like doing PR for individuals. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It
requires a lot of patience as well. But I was just like, it's interesting. It's sport. It's never really something that I thought I'd venture into, but let's see. So that was around, I think we probably signed our contract around June. Worked with them, 2022.
Yeah.
Worked with them when I was like, I'd like to separate the two entities. I don't want to represent another PR. I'd rather start another entity called Unorthodox Group.
Yeah.
So then I said to him, listen, I know you buy clients, but you want to start a company together? He's like, that's a good idea. So he's my director on the sports side.
Oh, wow.
And then we also have a third director. And then in November, we signed Lukhanyo. I also couldn't believe that Lukhanyo was not represented. I'm like, how are these two guys not represented, you know? So their whole thing was that they miss out on opportunities because they don't see a DM. You know, people can't get a hold of them. Also, they don't know what to charge, how to charge, how do we do this thing.
Yeah.
So I think we built that. That was like on the go as well, but it's very linked to PR in the sense that you see a person as an entity. Just like how you
they are a brand. Yeah.
We built the foundations. We've got a brand strategy for them. We help them get endorsement deals. But what we do, which is a bit different, is that we also help them plan for retirement.
Oh wow.
So we have this whole questionnaire where we ask what their interests are, and right at the end we're like, okay, at the end of your sporting career, what do you want to do? What do you want to venture into? So we start building that while they sit in the
which makes sense.
We introduce it to them so that by the time they retire, or should they get injured, they've got stuff that they can retire into. So also financial advisory, where they should invest. So we really go in depth with the guys, not just from a brand perspective only, because we want to create longevity.
100%. Yeah. I have a problem with how athletes PR just generally in the country. I feel like there's so many stories that could be told, but we don't know. You know, they don't put themselves out there. We have so many heroes. We have World Cup winners, for example, right? We have Olympic gold medalists, but their stories are not told.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need that because we know about Michael Jordan's story. You know what I mean? Like all these documentaries, and I'm not saying they should all do documentaries, but they should all tell their stories in various ways. How can we solve that?
I really think in SA we're still very premature when it comes to sports PR.
Yeah.
I think individuals in general.
Yeah.
Not just with the sporting guys. I think there's a lot that can be done. You know, I think we almost always cap it at just endorsements. But how's about going further? Because the thing is, you're inspiring someone.
100%.
Your success and your light, you almost have to, every single person has to be successful.
Yes.
Because you're inspiring someone else.
Yes.
So it's that, I think, across all industries. But in sports as well, I think that's quite a big thing. Because we glorify the teams, but not the individuals.
There's only like maybe 2 or 3, and then there's so many people that have a story to tell.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem I have.
Yeah. So, but it also does take a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because, so for instance, with our clients, you know, we've mapped out a whole brand strategy so that we know what deals to accept and what not. So there's certain brands that we don't work with.
So you're very intentional. I like it.
Yeah, because it doesn't feed into the narrative of the person that we're creating.
Yeah.
So we also get into a lot of like long-term partnerships because we want to build and grow with the brand. We don't like we'll do like a 2-month campaign, but ideally for us, our contracts need to be like a year with the option of a renewal. So because we like aligning ourselves. For instance, Makazole is an ambassador for Twiza.
Yeah.
Twiza was started in the Eastern Cape. And it's funny, once you follow their timeline, it correlates. There's a club that he played for, a team that he played for. When he started playing for that team, Twiza started being a sponsor. So it's those parallels, and because we really wanted to be authentic.
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. It's still quite a very new industry. But I mean, the world of sport, sure, there's so much money in there. There's so much money. I think I read somewhere that sports globally is worth like 63 trillion pounds or something ridiculous like that.
That's crazy. So, I'm not surprised though. Okay.
But we have like very few people hogging quite a lot.
Yes.
But I think also people don't know that there's the value chain of sport is so vast.
Yeah.
We only think about the athlete. There's managers like myself. There's physios, there's nutritionists, there are psychologists that specialize with athletes because it's a mental, it's really a mental thing as much as they're physically fit. So there's a lot, man. There's a lot, but we're just not exploring it as much. Yeah.
So if you were, actually, do you think back in high school, if you were exposed to this, you would have gone to it like straight through?
Sure, no.
Really? So your journey is just like, this is...
No, I wouldn't have gone into it because I think also like I had a very like, in as much as I wanted to be a dancer, but then I wanted to be a doctor at some stage. I think, you know, those structured traditional roles of going into corporate or going into business, you find yourself there mentally as well.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't think so. If I knew what I knew, I don't think so. I probably would have still done economics, business science, whatever I did,
Would you encourage the new generation to explore careers in sport?
Definitely. There is so much that's going on. I mean, with the NBA in the past 2 years.
Yeah, we're actually talking about it,
They've been, expanding into Africa so much. There's so many opportunities. I think on LinkedIn, every other week I'm seeing
NBA Africa,
So there's definitely a lot. Like the value chain and the pie in sport is so big. And what I would love is for more black women to get into it. I get so excited when I see another black woman.
Why? Do you feel like there's only a few black women and...
It's a white male dominated space. Okay. Like you would think soccer as well, but hey. Yeah.
So as a black woman in this industry, have you actually what are the adversities have you faced?
So, I mean, being called Mr.
Really?
on email, and I don't correct them. I'm like, we're gonna meet, and then when we meet, you see people like so embarrassed.
And I'm gonna look at you straight in the eyes.
Why are you assuming? Why are you assuming that I'm a Mr.? And then I've had that before. It's like, oh, I expect me to be a man. I was like, why? Like, no, you're so stern in your emails. I'm like, this is what?
And then what?
How should I speak to you? Not friends. So I mean that, and I think you need to have a thick skin as a black woman in sports, because almost all of my meetings I'm probably the only female. Not even, let's forget the race thing, I'm probably the only female.
Hectic.
And they get so shocked when you actually know about sports.
But how do you feel being in that space?
I love it. Okay. Because also like I was getting very bored of PR one time.
Okay.
I was just like, media interviews, producer,
I know what to do.
press release, boring, run of the mill. So it's very exciting. It's a totally different industry. I love being in it, but definitely we need to see more black women in the space. And there's lots of money in sport. We can literally all be very, very good. We can build generational businesses in sport and all be fine.
Everyone, actually, there's space for everyone.
Yeah.
You spoke about imposter syndrome earlier before the camera started rolling. I want us to touch on that because, I was telling you, like, sometimes I feel like a fraud. Like, oh my gosh, like, people take me seriously.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to say this and you're going to be like, actually, that's a good idea. I'm like, oh, right?
That's a good idea.
But how do you deal with that? How do you overcome it?
I think on the PR side, I just literally had to just push through.
Okay.
On the PR, like you'd be in a meeting with partners of law firms, and these people with like hectic degrees and PhDs, and then in comes. But also at the time I was very young. I was 22, and I liked.
How old are you?
I was 22 when I started the company.
Girl.
So it's a lot of the times also the industries that I enjoyed doing PR for. We were talking about it earlier. Your law firms. your engineering firms. I loved doing work for the renewable energy space.
Yeah.
So you find a lot of very seasoned people there, and I genuinely enjoyed that space. So like I'd walk into a room, I'm the youngest by far, a good 30 years, because it's an industry that takes time for you to grow into. And I find that people are actually listening to me and taking
I was about to
it
say, okay. Do they value opinion in those rooms? Okay.
So I think also the reason why I love such structured clients on the PR side is that they literally mind their own business. They know that they are lawyers and we don't know about PR.
Yeah,
so they
it's like, hey man.
Yeah.
What do I know about this place?
And that's really what I love, because they let you do what you do and they treat you as the expert in that. So you guide them. They ask a lot of your guidance. They're like, I know how to educate. But I know nothing about PR. So they literally get out of the way. So I love professionals like that, where they know their space. You don't come and tell me how to do my job.
Yeah.
Because then you might as well do it. Or if you want someone in your company to do it, then you can tell them how to do their job. So I really love those. In the sporting world, I think I've been blessed in the sense that my clients rely heavily on me. Okay. So in as much as I'll say, guys, this is what we're doing, blah, blah. So they'll ask me, okay, are we going ahead or not? So even though I say, I'm doing this for you, you have to buy into whatever it is that we're doing. But they always give me that finality to say, okay, you have the last say on what goes. These are my opinions.
I like that.
So, I mean, with working with such giants and the level of respect that they give me every single day is amazing. So that also helps, I think, within the industry as well, is that in the sense that it gives me a certain level of respect with the people that we work with, via them really respecting my clients as well. But it's crazy, man. I was just like, you guys really listen to me.
But let's talk about personal.
Taking me seriously.
But I like that, because you mentioned how you guys rarely ever pitch, right? To clients. It's always been referrals, but also the clients that you have, they have that personal relationship with you. So what are those personal relationships? Well, what does networking mean to you? And how would you encourage people to do it? Because it's been a major part in your business.
No, it has.
Yeah.
I mean, I think earlier on in the years, I used to go to every and any event, which I think is probably a process that we all go through. Just to be exposed to go out there. But right now, I'm more intentional about an event. Who do I want to meet and what do I want to get out of this? So I've avoided going to a lot of events because I've seen that my time, I'd rather be sleeping or like watching Housewives.
Very good. Can I rate?
If I'm not going to come back with anything. So networking is vital, very important, especially in the world of sport, because it's such a small industry and everyone knows each other. So you walk into a room via referral, and you find that, this person also knows this person, you guys have someone in common. And then there's an almost instant respect, or they almost, start to listen to you a bit more. So it's important. I mean, just even outside of sport, wherever you are.
I think you mentioned in one of the podcasts that you were in that the best currency is actually relationships instead of money. Yes. And I like that.
Yeah. You will make money if you have really good relationships. It's bound to happen. Bound to happen.
It's inevitable. That's the formula, basically. Okay. And then forgot this question. I really want to ask this question, but it goes back to relationships. Oh yes, networking, right? How do you not make networking feel fake? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel bad for I'm not using you, but
we need to remove the negative connotation from using.
Okay.
We should be using each other.
Okay.
We get into friendships because we use each other.
All right.
We use each other for
so it's not a bad thing to use.
It's really not a bad thing. Well, how you then use someone, is it of value to the both of you, or you just the only one benefiting? That's when it becomes blurred. But in our relationships day to day, we use
relationships
each other.
are a two-way. Okay, that's
and when you're networking with me, don't smile at me and we want to be friends.
Talk.
Get to the point.
Tell me what you want.
So I can tell you right away that no or yes, you don't waste your time, I don't waste my time.
Yeah.
So we really need to we all know what we all want from each other, and
let's not be
bad.
Okay. I like that.
But also, if you can find a way to add value, I think, to the other person and not just you getting as well, then it really strengthens your network.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then to wrap up, what would you want to be remembered as?
I think the biggest thing for me, I'm very, very big on women empowerment.
Yeah.
Via money.
Come on, guys.
Women, we've got everything. We're fully capable.
Yeah.
The only thing that we don't have is money. Not because we're not hardworking, but there are intentional spaces that women are shut out of.
Oh, okay.
So I really want to be remembered as that person who speaks very loudly about more women, more representation, especially of black women. And
Yeah.
black women, we are, you know what plankton is?
Yes.
So the small fishes, that's literally what we are in the
like
world,
that.
you know? The sharks don't really want to go for plankton, but hey, anyone can go for us. Like
That's
black
fair.
women are right at the bottom.
Of the food chain.
Yeah, we're right at the bottom. Let's just be honest about that. That's why we need to be so bold. Take up as much space as we possibly can, but also not forget that if you see that there isn't another black woman, don't be scared to question it.
Yeah.
So I had a networking session with a few guy friends of mine because I invited myself, and I sat in that long.
Oh, you're part of the boys club.
And I sat in that long table. I was like, but where are the only other person that was there was someone's girlfriend. But I'm just like, where are the other women here?
Yeah.
And the table went very quiet. I'm like, you guys know women. You know women, but why are you not inviting?
Yeah.
I forced myself to come here, but why are we not inviting women to come into these spaces? So that's the one thing that I really want to be remembered for, being very bold and vocal. And not just being bold and vocal, but actually doing something to make sure that black females are seen. Not only seen, but given opportunities.
Yeah.
And we get paid the amount of money that we are worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
But how do you
such a
determine
beautiful-
that? How do you determine your worth? Because some people get stuck in the, or like, let me just say, so some people get stuck in the you know, like they over value themselves.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially people starting up. Like I know my worth. Like, girl, I get it, but you really don't. You haven't paid your dues. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a point. I love what you said about paying your dues. You need to pay your dues.
Yeah.
But you also need to get to a point in time where you're like, I've worked
I did
hard,
this and this,
I
yeah.
did this, therefore I deserve it. Also do the research.
Yeah.
Just see on average the people that are around you with the same work experience. Compare yourself to men, white men. Make that your
Oh
benchmark when it
yes,
comes to
I always say
finances.
I like to say so. When I get into boardrooms, I always like to call myself a Todd. Like Todd is like the perfect Todd.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're not. First of all, they're not shy. They just
No.
speak their opinion. They speak their
No.
mind. They don't care what other people think. They just like take it or leave it.
And this is it.
All right. Thank you for your time,
It's a
Siba.
pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Last question. Which other woman would you like to see on this podcast?
Oh, but there's so many.
Three. Your top three.
3. Do they have to be like SA?
No, any. Like honestly.
I'd love to see Michelle Obama.
Oh, okay. Michelle, I mean, I'm not gonna. Michelle, please, hey? Serena Williams.
Love to see her. There's also this one lady that I work with. She also has her own company. Does a lot of work in sport. Her name is Tendai. Love to see her.
Tendai, who's Serena?
What is her name?
Alright, okay.
But
And her company?
Her company is TR Communication.
TR Communication.
They do really amazing work. They do international sports stars. We recently hosted Dan Carter and was through her company.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd love to. I think she's so amazing. She's got so much value. But I know she doesn't like media stuff. I've been trying to get her to do more stuff.
Yeah,
but
tell your story.
She's
Yeah.
phenomenal. She's phenomenal. So yeah, I think those are the ladies I'd love to see.
Alright,
If we can reach out to Michelle, tell her I say hi.
No, you're going to be here with us. You're going to be here with us. You make this happen, Siba. And lastly, where can people find you? On socials, LinkedIn? What are your social media handles?
So on LinkedIn, it's my full name, Sibabalwe Sesmani.
Yes.
On Twitter, what is my handle on Twitter? It's my surname, Sesmani S.
Yes.
Sesmani S. And then on Instagram, it's unorthodox_Siba.
All right. Because she is unorthodox. Don't cram her. Don't cram her. Again, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your lovely
Of
podcast.
course. And thank you guys for watching. This has been such an amazing episode. I hope you guys learned a lot about sports communications, but also corporate PR. And guys, there's enough space for us in sports, so please come. We need you here. All right? We'll see you guys next time, and bye.